Well, hey, Shane, we got to move this thing along. And speaking of being afraid, I'm afraid of anybody that's going to face this Tennessee offense. How about it, buddy? Tennessee Vols, 45, South Carolina 20. And again, this thing was not as close as this final score indicates. I mean, it was 28-0 by the end of the first quarter, Shane. Hendon Hooker had 4 touchdowns by the time Luke Doty had 40 yards in the game. Tennessee scored 101 points in the first quarter this season. That's more than any first quarter they've scored the last 5 seasons. And hell, we're only 6 games in here. So, I mean, the red-hot Vols do it again. South Carolina, I don't know what in the hell you're doing, particularly on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, this was a damn laugher. And probably the most egregious thing I saw all weekend was, Tennessee jumps out 14-0. Okay, that's not totally unexpected. And then we run all the way down the field on the Tennessee Vols. We run it down their throat. We get on the goal line. Hey, I got a great idea, Shane. Let's have Jordan Birch, our defensive end, throw a fucking pass on the goal line. It got intercepted. I mean, whoever made that call should probably be fired immediately. I got to assume it's the offensive line coach. Shane Beamer said they've been working that one up all week. Well, my God, it didn't show. And immediately after that, Tennessee goes 80 plays in 5 yards, 21-0, and any hope South Carolina had just was blown up from that moment. This was horrible.
80 yards in 5 plays, right? You had that mixed. You said 80 plays. I'm like, damn, that was a slow drive.
I'm sorry. Five plays, 80 yards, and it took about 20 seconds off the damn game clock.
Oh, I love it, man. I love it. Man, the world seems right when Tennessee's winning, don't it? It's just, I don't know, the birds seem louder, the sky seems bluer. I don't know. Maybe it's me. I'm whistling while I'm going to work and all that shit. So, no, this was a great game for us, man. This is, again, a momentum builder for Hooker, too. I think that's the key, especially when we had quarterback controversy coming in this season. We don't anymore. We got a QB1, and that's important because these receivers, you're noticing it, man. They're starting to pick up on each other. That's the thing when you bounce around quarterbacks. We'll talk about Florida here in a second, but it just feels like you can't really get on the same page till after a few games, and that's what these Vols are starting to do. We did have a couple of drops. I'm not saying it's a perfect game, but it was definitely a step in the right direction. Now, South Carolina, man, they ran a wheel off, especially on their offense. We keep waiting for that identity that we talk about. It reminds me of this coordinator down there. He reminds me of, what's that, Waterboy. You remember Waterboy and the coach that was Coach in Waterboy?
Coach Klein?
Yeah, and his mind's all messed up and he can't do the plays, anything, he's drawing. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. He needs a game, or these guys need a game that comes out and say, oh, shit, this is what we're doing. We've got to run a game. We know you got great running backs. I think they got 3 really good running backs on that team, but you can't do anything with it if you don't have the ability to move the ball through the air, and that's what they're lacking. And Doty, I know he was hurt coming into the season, and it's not fair maybe to have as high expectations on him coming into this game, but now's the time, brother. And if he's not doing it, we've got to manufacture some sort of passing game on this team. There is just no light at the end of this tunnel right now for South Carolina. No, and jumping back to Tennessee, it's just so impressive, Shane, because these indications were there early in the season. The plays were not being made, and now you look back in hindsight, obviously a new coaching staff, new players, transfers, and, so many moving pieces, and it certainly, the Tennessee Vols have put all these pieces together, and I know the competition has not necessarily been stellar, but when you're playing these SEC opponents and just look at, this is mimics last week against Missouri. Tennessee's drive chart, Shane, to start the game. Touchdown, 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 punt, touchdown, field goal. I mean, I don't care who in the hell you're playing. And what was it we were saying all week? South Carolina's got them a stingy defense that was playing red hot coming into this matchup. They just cut right through them like they weren't staying in there. So many big plays being made, so many clutch plays being made. And again, this is with a
a lot of the offensive line is banged up. There was been a lot of reporting that Tennessee staff not thrilled with their receivers. Well, hell, 6 games into the season, they look like they got some of the best receivers in the country. You know what I mean? So, it's all coming together for the Tennessee Vols, and they're just so red hot right now. And I really do think they're in the top half of the SEC, even if their record may not totally indicate it. And we are going to have ourselves a track meet here.
Oh my gosh.
Neyland Stadium, Sunday evening, Ole Miss, Tennessee. I mean, they can't set the over-under high enough on that one, can they?
I'm still betting the over, man. No, I think it's going to be a hell of a game, Mike. In fact, that's why we're going to it.
Yes, sir.
So I think that's going to be awesome. There was some definitely learning moments in this game too. I don't want to act like everything again was roses, because in the second half, they really struggled getting that half started. I mean, you look at them, the first half they were dominant, but South Carolina did have some adjustments during halftime, and it felt like they were finding ways to get pressure on Hooker. They were finding ways to stop up some of these receivers, because Tennessee does have some small receivers. They were getting physical with them at the line of scrimmage. So I'm not saying I'm worried, but I am. My eyebrows are raised, and don't think that these other teams didn't notice what worked and what didn't work with Tennessee. So they got to continue to be efficient. That offensive line. One thing about Tennessee, man, is they are razor thin right now. There was so many players that didn't even get to play defense. And kudos to the defense, a scrappy bunch of group. They were all over Luke most of the game. They disrupted. They continue to impress. We talked about the offense the first 10 minutes here, but that defense, buddy, is the reason that Tennessee is winning these games right now.
Yeah, no doubt.
I know not satisfied with the second half, but when you look at how thin you guys were going today with all the injuries and guys that were out, proud of how the guys that stepped up like Brandon Turnage and some of those guys stepped up and competed.
You look on the defensive side of the football with the guys that we have out, starters, and maybe a guy that was a backup that was playing a week ago. There's some new guys out there today. They showed up. They played assignment sound. They communicated the right way. They played extremely hard. A lot to be proud of with a lot of guys back there. You mentioned Brandon Turnage. Guy played. I'm not going to say flawless because I haven't watched the tape yet, but he played rock solid today. It was a great effort by him.
Yeah, I know you would like to win no matter how you could, but can you appreciate the fan experience of how fun this brand of football is to watch?
I hope they enjoy the heck out of it. That we're going to play fast and physical in all 3 phases of the game. Offensively, yeah, we're probably a little bit different than what's happened. But the defense too, man. The ability to be multiple, to be aggressive. Our kids are competing really hard, and I think that's the first step to making this fan base in this state extremely proud of who we are on the football field.
On that drive that ended in the Jordan Burns interception, it seemed like you guys were running the ball really well on that play or on that drive. When you made the decision to call that play then, and just what did you see on that?
Yeah, we were running the ball well, and hindsight being 2020, you just continue to run the ball and hammer it in and make it a 14-7 game, I think is what it would have been if we had scored the touchdown. But that was a play we've been working all week. Jordan has thrown that ball, I think, in high school, and something we've been working all along this week. And he's made some great throws on it, and I didn't really see the angle from the sideline. But, yesterday we ran it in our walkthrough in the indoor, and he threw a beautiful ball in the back corner of the end zone where he led Nick, and Nick caught it, as he's going out of bounds. But I think, may have been a little bit underthrown. I'm not really sure. Their guy made a nice play. But we had talked about it as an offensive staff that, first time we got down there inside the 5, we were going to get to that call, and we had told Jordan, run it and make them tackle you if you don't like the pass. And he was trying to make a play. We were trying to make a play. If it works, it's great. If it doesn't, you get criticized, and I get that part of it. But we had talked about it before the game. We liked the play and felt good about it.
Shane, how would you evaluate the play calling that you've had on offense through the first 6 games of the season?
Good.
Helmer Granny?
Okay.
I mean, what do you want me to say, Gene? That I think it's been terrible? Are there plays that Marcus would like to have back? Yeah. Every single coach and player in that locker room would like to have plays back. Today's no question. I mean, if we could go back and hindsight being 2020, there's a lot of plays that we'd like to have back. There's a lot of calls that Clayton would like to have back. And when we're whatever we are offensively right now, it's not good enough, and we got to be better, and we got to continue to coach and play better. And then special teams, defense, all that. I mean, we all had a hand in this thing today. When you give up 472 yards of offense and let a team go 12 of 17 on third down, we got to be better on defense. When we ran the ball we had 75 plays for close to 400 yards, and we're not as good on third down and didn't always score touchdowns in the red zone, and we had 2 fumbled snaps with the quarterback in the center. I mean, there's a lot that we all can be better at, myself included.